You know those things when you're growing up and you swear you're never going to do that? You're not going to do it. You're not going to do what your dad's doing. You're not going to do those things.
Golf. I'm there with golf. I used to hate golf. I used to find it boring. And then last night I'm telling Juliet we can't put on Babe for the 17th consecutive time because Bryson's in a playoff right now. And I need to see this with Cantley.
Wasn't that amazing?
Oh, my God, it was amazing.
Bryson choked, huh?
I just choked on whatever I was eating when I was trying to say something.
You have to excuse her. She had a sip of soda. Mm-hmm. But they both kind of traded choke jobs until...
Well, Cantlay was clutch just to get to the playoff.
And
then Bryson had that little birdie putt to win it, and he missed it. Cantlay parred. Bryson parred. They went on and played 5 more holes after that, and eventually Cantlay won.
It was
great.
It was great drama.
Yeah.
They don't like each other. No one really likes Bryson.
No one likes Bryson.
I'm turning on Bryson.
Why?
I still love watching Bryson play. But no, he's a jerk. Golfers and golf fans don't like Bryson. The way that he treats his partners ain't great, whether it's a caddy or an actual sponsor isn't great. The vaccine thing at the Olympics, I was super excited to see him at the Olympics. He gets COVID, and then he had a really bizarre half-ass explanation. Just come out and say you're anti-vax.
Right.
He's
leaving some for everyone else.
Yeah, thank you. Very, very kind.
Yes.
Very kind of you.
They'll love him when they play the Ryder Cup with him, though.
Yeah.
We all will.
And I thought Brooks Koepka...
I mean, that thing's wrapped in the American flag. That's why, like, even Koepka has said, hey, I'll put aside my beef with Bryson for those 5 days.
Patty Reed is not liked, and he's like Captain America.
But they love him, yes, for that 1 week. Correct.
Yeah, but I like the way that Koepka came off in their interaction as opposed to Bryson. I thought Bryson had some really good moments there, too, but he's easy to dislike. I see that.
But I think it's gotten to the point where he's so disliked that I almost feel bad for him. Because I was very early on the dislike Bryson DeChambeau train because I think he's super obnoxious and he does and says things that are actively at odds with what I say and believe. But now he's getting mocked constantly at these events and he clearly can't handle it and he's lashing out and I almost feel a little bad for him, which is not what I expected to feel.
I don't feel badly for him, no.
There's never been a gallery that has ever been that on fire for Patrick Cantlay.
Yes.
It's just absurd.
Well, they got
that whoever's
Bryson,
playing Bryson becomes the fan favorite. Patrick Cantlay is like the Ice King.
They were screaming a couple of different times in sudden death on Bryson's backswing, which you just can't do that. I don't care how much you dislike the guy, but in golf, and that sport in particular, you just can't do that. Like, you can't. But
he could do a better job of helping himself in this situation. I thought he is, for what people think, surprisingly self-deprecating. It's not necessarily funny, but at times he can poke fun at himself. I think he's having fun with the Brooks Koepka thing.
He's annoying, Mike.
I see it.
He's also wildly talented.
He's in his 20s.
Yes.
And just crazy.
Yes. That guy's going to win like 10 majors. That's how good he is. Like,
unless golf
he's already won a U.S. Open, I believe.
Changes the rules and doesn't let his style of play continue, like they've already tried to do in certain places.
I think now I'm starting to become a Bryson guy again because I like that he's
changing the game.
He's changing the game for the better, I think.
They need to change it.
Yes.
And he's appointment television.
Yes.
There hasn't been that since Tiger for me. I know Lefty's one of those guys for you, but there hasn't been someone that I really want to watch golf since Bryson.
I am telling you guys, and I've told you this forever, I really only watch the majors. I love the Masters, the Open Championship, U.S. Open, PGA. I was glued. Yesterday felt like a major to me, and I'm telling you, I would not have had that feeling if Bryson wasn't involved. In fact, I'm not certain I even would have watched. If it was Patrick Cantlay and Jordan Spieth, I'm not certain I'm even watching that. But because it was Bryson, and because I know everyone's going to be rooting against him, I tuned in, and it was great. It was the best. It was the most entertaining on a weekend that had college football. Golf was the most entertaining thing on my television.
Well, golf needs a villain, and he's a great villain. And I just hope that it remains, well, I don't really know if it isn't fun anymore, if people really seriously despise him. I think a lot of people just genuinely don't like him. But
Cantlay doesn't like him,
if it can
sure.
Cantlay doesn't like him.
Stay in that fun, villainous mentality and not become more than that, where people are like genuinely mean to him. That's where I'm kind of like, I feel a little bad for him. Like, I don't know if you read Kevin Van Valkenburg's column after yesterday's match, but people were mocking him as he was going out or going back into the clubhouse, and he was super like I don't know the word, triggered by it, I guess. People calling him Brooksy and like jeering at him and taunting him and stuff. And like, that's where I'm like golf, that's kind of generally not what golf fans do.
No,
I like that aspect.
Yes.
It actually makes me want to root for Bryson a little bit more because part of this is an establishment thing. I like the anti-establishment guy. I just wish he were a better ally.
But it's crazy that the anti-establishment guy is not the guy that the fans are cheering for. Like that's where my brain's in a pretzel. And also, I should add, I'm super soft. Like I don't like when people are mean.
Well, golf fans are traditionalists. You know, they don't want a guy out there with a protractor trying to figure out. It feels like he's rigging the game, like rigging the system. You know. All the clubs are the same length.
No, but at the heart of it, he's also hitting it a lot further than everybody else.
Mike, at the heart of it, he's one of the 5 best golfers in the world. Like, he's immensely talented. He's great, and he's great for the game. And he needs to stay right where he is as the villain, because golf needs a villain. I would not have tuned in to yesterday.
Don't speak during his backswing. But I like that banter. Calling him Brooksy, like, have at it.
No, but I felt badly for him yesterday because it's such a cruel game, and he choked. He choked a couple of different times, and you don't want to hear that afterwards.
Well, I felt bad for it because
it.
Cantley was being icy to him. The crowd was obviously very pro Patrick Cantley, which is not something you'll ever see again unless it's the exact same situation. It did kind of feel like the whole world's against him. And Bryson, for all his idiosyncrasies and minor annoyances there, he never set out to be that.
Right.
He's never really done anything. I refuse to believe that's a whole vaccine position that the gallery took. People just straight up don't like Bryson.
What they don't like about Bryson is the science he applies to the game and how much time he takes to play the game.
I think it's his personality. And I don't think it's his political views either, because I think golf tends to be a more right of center fandom. And he's partied with Eric Trump without a mask after winning the U.S. Open in the middle of a pandemic. You know, like he didn't get the vaccine, and that whole thing Mike already explained. So I think he's just kind of obnoxious, and people don't like that.
You don't think part of the personality is snobby science guy who's applying science to a game
I think
where Brooks Koepka is saying, hey, I just go up there, I don't take it, I don't look at anything, I don't take my time. I go up there and I smash the ball 380 yards.
What gets me, even though I do know him to be a bright guy, at least scholastically, is like the whole meathead intellectual thing.
Right.
You're applying that with, I see where people find him obnoxious with his commentary and his, not just his positions on things, but his approach to handling certain controversies too hasn't been the best. But every time I made the decision after the COVID thing, I'm like, this can't be my favorite guy anymore.
Right.
I'm not putting on the driver cap anymore. I am done being a DeChambeau. And in that playoff, I'm not tuning in for, yes. I'm not tuning in for Patrick Cantley. I end up rooting for Bryson.
Let me try it this way. If you're out there playing golf on the weekend and a guy like Koepka, you're playing with him, pulls out, a 6-pack of beers and, a couple of cigars, you're going to give him a hug. It's exactly who you want to play with. You go out for a round and you're paired with Bryson, who's pulling out a protractor, you're going to punch him in the face. Okay? That's the difference.
Market.
That's the difference.
I've never once seen him take out a protractor.
Mike, read the stories about him having a protractor in the back pocket.
It's also his pace of play that's how him and Koepka ended up getting in that little spat, because he takes like 5 hours to golf a single round because he does so many practice swings and he measures everything, like Stugat said. Like,
to line up a 5-foot putt.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, it's infuriating. And I could see why fans don't like that either.
By the way, I started that segment because I was talking about things that you swear you're not going to do as a kid, because Roy started listening to jazz in the car.
Yeah.
That's where Roy's at in his life.
That's
where
a peace thing.
The soothing sounds of jazz is what's taking Roy home from work every single day.
Welcome to the jazz phase.
And I'm jealous, yes.
Welcome to the jazz phase.
Jazz phase.
Yeah, I have a theory that there is a age threshold for a majority of men in this society who decide on a whim, hey, I'm going to start listening to jazz.
Oh, yeah, man.
Specifically smooth jazz. Love 94 type stuff.
I thought you were talking about like Chet Baker and stuff.
Oh, no, I'm talking about that as well.
Miles Davis.
Yeah.
Miles Davis, yeah. Yeah, John
Soothing
Coltrane.
sounds, right? Yeah.
For me, though, it's neo soul. Like that could be classified as jazz if you want to do it that way. Raphael Sadiq, D'Angelo, Maxwell, that sort of thing.
Nice.
I've gotten into that, really, as well as regular jazz and smooth jazz. And it's my dad, basically.
Yeah.
I'm becoming more my dad every single day.
Only 2 steps removed from bird watching, I'm telling you.
Well, bird watching, that's kind of
bird watching is the exclusive domain of the geriatric. It's something that everyone.
Really?
Yeah, I went to Maine over the weekend and I went whale watching and I was in line. I was like, wow, we are the youngest people on this boat by 30 years at least. Turns out we were in the wrong line because that was a boat just for bird watching.
Yeah,
The Puffins of Maine.
Wait, Mike, how much did you love Maine? How much?
Loved it because I never once wanted to go to Maine.
Right.
Are you kidding me? I want to go someplace fun.
It seems
And
like the
now I'm
only decent
35,
place left in America.
And
yes.
I just give me Maine. I want to see flat water. I want to see flat water, eat seafood,
Yeah, good
and
water
just
over there, yeah.
silence. There was people just sitting outside
Yes.
on benches.
Yep.
That was it.
That's all. That was their day.
That was their day. They weren't looking at their phones.
Yeah.
They were just sitting on a bench,
Yeah.
soaking in the 75-degree weather because that's a hot one, and you have to. We have seasons up here in Maine. You should enjoy this. I thought it was on the Truman Show.
Delightful.
It was so weird.
You know, there was a camera behind you somewhere.
Life moves slower there.
Yes.
It really does, and I really enjoyed that. And I never enjoyed that stuff when I was younger, but now I seek it. Just like food, they say your taste buds change every 7 years. Mm-hmm. Sensibilities change too. I used to not get the National. Turned 30, love them.
Right.
Like the notion of going to Maine in your 20s, you would have been was laughable,
Who goes to
right?
Maine? Who goes to Portland?
And now you want to move there.
Now I want to go there all the time. Man.
Yeah.
The 48 hours wasn't enough. But my jazz phase was Chet Baker, Miles Davis. Read his book cover to cover on Audible, and I really enjoyed my jazz phase. But it is a sign of aging.
Well, you have one of those record players that.
That was also part of my midlife crisis.
But you know, jazz sounds better. Jazz sounds better on the record player. So you're absolutely right about that.
Mine was Malone and Stockton.
A terrible joke.
Thanks.
It wasn't a Pistol Pete.
Mark Eaton.
If you're gonna go jazz phase with basketball, you got to pull a more obscure name than Stockton Malone. That's the layup of the joke.
Greg Ostertag.
Yeah, you got to go Ostertag.
Ostertag.
Shinsis.
Matt Harpering.
I deserved it. You're right.
Harpering.
Matt Harpering.
Boy.
Harp.